Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for Tower of God Chapter 363, or Season 2, Episode 283. I guess let's just jump into the discussion for this one. Oh, before I do, I wanted to mention something sometime this week, and I forgot to write it down or anything, but I wanted to mention something sometime this week, because they in the comments and stuff have always been super kind to me. I'll leave a link in the comments. I'll find their stuff and leave a link. But the Tower of God fan dub that's going on, it's not personally my thing that I just look up and watch. I don't watch very many fan dubs. Just not my thing. But that doesn't mean I can't understand and respect the hard work that goes into something like that. Like, a lot goes into doing something like that. And also it helps the community for Tower of God in general a lot. So, since they've all really, like all the people involved that I've talked to in comments and stuff before, have been really cool people, and just because I respect the hard work that goes in, I do want to just throw a link down there so you guys can check it out if it's something that you're interested in, something you want to watch, something you like. And I think they've been pretty active and steady with releasing episodes too. Like I said, I haven't personally kept up with it super closely. But, yeah, either way, I'll throw something like that down in the comments for them. But either way, just wanted to bring that up, and shout-outs to them for being cool before I get into talking about the chapter. Either way, let's talk about it. So we get confirmation at the beginning of something we already kind of knew. Kuhn's not Data. He's not a Data copy per se. I mean, I guess he's still maybe Data, but the Data's linked to his real body. I don't totally get how it works, but they came in using the master key or whatever, so if they die there, they die for real. We kind of already knew that, and I guess that makes them not technically Data people. They're kind of in a weird special circumstance. But cutting away from that, before we get to see what happens between him and Kiseia, we go to Bomb's group. They're still searching for the exit. I guess maybe they have to find a certain area before they can open the scroll and say, get us out of here. I don't remember them having to do that before, but I guess maybe it's a thing here. So Rack, I liked this a lot actually. Rack finds this carving up on a wall over an entranceway that looks like him, and he's like, me? So maybe we're going to get introduced to another member of Rack's species that's an important person at some point. Maybe one of, I think it would be so hilarious if one of the 10 family heads was a Wraith Razor, a Rack type person. I think that'd be hilarious. Have the Hendo just have the Hendo family, Hendolock family, or Hendrick, I think the line translation called them, but have the Hendolock family be all like Wraith Razors or whatever you would call Rack, and then I guess that would make Glad Mary or whatever a female Rack. That would be funny. But either way, all jokes aside, I think it's cool, and I'm really hyped because we haven't seen any other members of whatever species or race Rack is. So if we get to see another member of Rack's species or race, I think it'd be great. Especially if they're like really smart and sophisticated and nothing like Rack himself. That would add another layer of comedy and irony onto it. But either way, Icarus uses her big breeder powers to find the exit. We continue on seeing Kuhn's fight with Kiseia, and he fights desperately to try to survive and escape with Miseng because he's kind of in a bad place here, and we actually get to see Kuhn be a bit different to us as viewers, where he's legitimately worried. He's legitimately like, oh, back is against the wall, need to think of a plan real quick. But he ends up managing to escape with Miseng. Kiseia, pretty attractive, I'm noticing through all of this. She's basically a female Agro Agnes, so it feels weird saying that she is attractive. But yeah, Kiseia is pretty attractive. Then she keeps mentioning throughout this ordeal how Kuhn is different, and I think that's cool because on the one hand, there's the logical leap of she's not the real Data version of Kiseia. She's just an imprint of what Kuhn would think of her, what Agro Agnes would think of her. But either way, that aside, I think it's cool that she's like, the Kuhn Agro Agnes that I knew from before he became a regular, met Bomb, went on this journey, is totally different from the person he is now, and it shows how Bomb and the others have changed him as a person. But he tells her that he can't die until he becomes the leader of the family, and then he teleports out of there. He's like, now that I've made my cool speech, I'm not fighting you, bye. So he teleports out of there, and then Bomb is like, oh my god, you're stabbed, but he says, this is kind of more important, sworn enemy, teleport us out of here, then we'll talk. So they end up leaving the stage before Kiseia can follow him. Icarus then heals Kuhn in the area between stages that they've been at before. And it makes me wonder, could they just sort of hang out in that area if they felt like it? I mean, if they aren't just in a rush where they have to go and immediately select where they go next, and they can just have time to sit around and heal, could they sit around there for a while and just rest up? Not that I think they would, I'm just thinking out loud of would it be possible. But either way, Icarus heals Kuhn then, and that makes sense with her cover story. With her cover story of being the Big Breeder's sworn enemy, it makes sense that she'd have these cool powers. But Kuhn and Yuan Sung are still wary, because that's the way the two of them definitely are. Jiak comes with 3 sworn enemies to get Kiseia. And actually, I saw a comment before I went to record this. I didn't read. I'm going to read it right after I record this. I'll go through and look at my comments and try to answer a few while I'm editing, because I have to edit the Motsuka Niome review before this. But I'm getting distracted. I saw somebody bring up, did I think maybe the one in the back was Burroughs, I think? And I think it was the guy that does the fan dub. But they asked that. I don't think it's Burroughs, actually. I think that I didn't put too much thought into it, but when I was taking notes and I looked at the 2 others that were with them, I was thinking that I ruled out Boro or Sachi's group, because I'm like, Jock doesn't really, even if he knows about them, which he might not know about them, even if he knows about them, they're not the ones he's directly going after. He's going after Bomb's group, so I was thinking only with Bomb's group. We've seen Bomb's sworn enemy, and they're there. We've seen Rax, and unless there's a new form for Rax's sworn enemy, it's not there. We know that Kiseia is Kuhn's, and that would leave just a few. It would leave Yuan Sung, so possibly one of those could be Yuan Sung's, but I was thinking no on Yuan Sung. And the other is Icarus/Rachel, and I'm thinking because Icarus/Rachel, she's using the Big Breeder helmet to get in there rather than being a normal data human. She's using that helmet to create an avatar for herself. So I think because of that, she might not even have a Big Breeder. Might not even have a sworn enemy, not Big Breeder. So I was thinking it was just Irure and Burroughs. Maybe the big thing in the back is Burroughs' sworn enemy, and the pinkish-haired one is Irure's, and maybe it's a sibling or something from the Eurasia family. So that's what I was thinking. I mean, it could be anybody's from the group, yeah. But I was thinking Burrow and Irure's, maybe. And then, of course, we'd have Bomb and Kuhn's there with them. Sad that we already went past Rax and we didn't really get to see any more of it. Or that Rax wasn't a bit cooler than just some random sea monster. But either way, Edwan then cutting over to them. Edwan offers grapes and wine to Boro's group. Hakni and Sachi both sense a special holiness from Edwan, even though it is his young self. And I don't know, this kind of makes me think if this Edwan is so overwhelmingly powerful that he would, presumably from the way he's been treated and the way he looks, it seems like he would absolutely demolish Ron or Agro Agnes. What kind of hope does that tell us for them in the future being able to surpass the real Edwan if Edwan from the Hell Train would demolish Kuhn, Agro Agnes from the Hell Train? But either way, moving along from that, just some thoughts there. Sachi asks Edwan why he would help them in the first place, why he's going against Zahard. And Edwan explains it as, this is the me from the Hell Train. I don't know how I ended up becoming 10 family head. I don't know how Zahard ended up becoming king. Or even if he was told by somebody else, he wasn't there living it himself. He doesn't know all the details. So he doesn't quite know all of this. And he says that the Zahard that was there with him, the Zahard from the Hell Train, one day came and said he got a second mirror for the elites, the special people, he got a second mirror from his outside self, and Edwan noticed that he was different. So he says that something seriously changed when the Zahard from the Hell Train met his current real self, and it felt like something totally different had returned. So, young Zahard being corrupted by old Zahard. Then at the very end, though, we do see Zahard and Wangnan watching on through the lighthouse screens. It looked like Wangnan was watching as well, just from down at the floor. But either way, they might be in different places. We see both of them. And Zahard said he needs to go out because he needs to see the guy who can use Shinsu Black Hole Sphere for himself. So presumably he's going after Bomb. I think maybe it might be a little bit too early for that. I don't know if I want Zahard to get involved this early. But I'll get to that in a minute. First I want to talk about the blog stuff. In the blog, CU reinforces saying that the sworn enemy's strength is based on how strong the person that they're the sworn enemy of thinks they are. And as an example of this, he brings up Agro-Agnes and Kiseia. If Agro-Agnes thinks that Kiseia is more skilled with a knife, then Kiseia as a sworn enemy is more skilled with a knife, because that's how Agro-Agnes views Kiseia. He also says that a lot of things are foreshadowed here that won't happen for a while, and I'm thinking maybe that'll just be the explanation of how Zahard became evil. I think maybe that's what he's referencing. But either way, just to talk about thoughts on the chapter as a whole really quick, I thought it was a really good chapter. I'm really, really excited about sworn enemies actually playing an important part and being used, getting attention, so I'm happy with that. And one thing that I would say I'm worried about is Zahard coming in too early. Like I think with using the Floor of Death as another negative example, I think maybe Helljo came in too early. We didn't really get to see Bomb and his group fight weaker enemies. We just went straight to the strong enemies, and it made Bomb and his group kind of useless, and all the rankers had to do all the real fighting, like Yuri and Yurik, and then Karaka and such had fights elsewhere. So yeah, I think that that's sort of an issue I have with it, is I'm hoping Zahard doesn't come into play too early. But either way, I did think it was a really good chapter, so I'm going to give it 8.5 grapes out of 10. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this chapter, what you thought of my thoughts on it. Subscribe for more Tower of God, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I'll try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. And if you want a link to our Discord server, just ask and I'll give you one. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.